I can do 27 things in one afternoon, but no, this I need myself for. This is the After Dinner Mint, a podcast of stories I tell you at dinner. Think of the mint as the stories you tell after you've been kicked out of the restaurant, holding your mint, standing in the street, telling more honest stories with your friends than you did at the table. It's not a sermon. It's not advice. It's not self-help. We're processing what we're learning about faith and life, honestly, in community, to encourage you to do that with your God and your community. Hi, I'm Beck, and today I'm here with Rhianon Rae, who's married to Sam, and she has 3, soon-to-be 4 children. She trained in Christian ministry with UWA Christian Union and Trinity Theological College. She's also one of our regular writers at Stories. Welcome, Rhianon.
Thanks, Beck. Nice to be here.
So glad to have you. So, Rhianon, tell us, what does a typical week look like for you? What kind of things make up your week?
I am currently, most of my week is looking after our 3 kiddos. So I've got 2 children at school and one at home with me and another one coming soon. So that takes up a fair bit of my time. Doing school drop-offs takes up more time than I could have ever thought that it would. And
So true.
aside from that, I love running a Bible study on a Thursday, which has just finished up now, and either going to creches or helping with creches. Yep, that's a pretty good summary of my week.
Lovely. And also, I feel like being pregnant is it is a whole thing in your week when you're like, how do I get to this appointment in amongst the rest of this?
Yes, that is very true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, especially those appointments where you're not supposed to take other children with you. Those ones are the tricky ones to work.
Those are the bane of, yeah. It's like, why? Why? Like, I'm clearly I already like children. Why can't they be here? But anyway.
I think it's something about them not liking the children unplugging the important medical equipment or something like that.
Oh, that's unsensible,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Now, I have a question because I did see in your bio that you actually really like watching cricket. And
I do. I love it.
Like, loves cricket and plays it and is training our boys to play cricket.
Mm-hmm.
But how did you come by this love of cricket? Because I have to know.
Very much a family thing. So I grew up in the country and I've got 3 younger brothers. And so I was a tomboy growing up, very much so. I was like the only girl on the junior cricket team. We played a lot of backyard cricket and we became WACA members when I think my brother and I must have been 10 and he must have been about 8. So we have gone to the cricket as a family for, a really long time. So it's this kind of whole big family thing. We all sit together and, love it.
That's so lovely. And I see my husband teaching the boys and it's like this, there's so much language to it. Like it's its own thing. Like everything, like this is a duck and this is like this particular type of shot and they all have different names. It's.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's actually a really nice way to have incidental conversations. Like you can just be chatting about the cricket and then, sitting side by side. And then you can also chat about other things, maybe particularly with brothers.
Yes.
Yeah. So I really like it as well.
No, I feel like I'm going to need to really learn alongside the kids. I'm learning about like that and physics, neither of which I don't know much about, but I'm really trying.
Now, I can't help you with physics, but, cricket, chat about cricket.
Excellent. Physics, chemistry, yes, any of those things. Awesome. So in terms of like, I am bad at both of those things, but what are the things that like kind of make you feel most like yourself? Like, what are the things that make you feel alive?
I really love sports. I grew up playing a lot of sport. I still love sport. And netball is my all-time favourite. My knees currently don't like netball very much, and my season of life is also not good for netball. So I'm not playing it currently, but I just really enjoy it, and I feel invigorated when I get to do it. So any opportunity I have to play, I grab it. And the other thing that I really love getting the chance to do is to study and reflect and chat about the Bible, theology, church history. I really love doing that and getting the chance to teach it as well. So I'm so thankful that my husband Sam has kind of supported me through plodding through part-time study at Trinity. It's
Aw.
been really, I really actually enjoy it. People ask me, like, how do you do that with kids? And I'm like, well, actually, I really love going to lectures. I don't love handing in assignments so much. Referencing definitely don't love, but actually sitting there soaking it all in, yeah, really enjoy that.
That's so cool. See, like the sport thing, I'm not. Yeah, I didn't really play a lot of sport, and I'm trying to be a person who does like exercisey things, but I'm
Mhm.
whatever. So this is say, like, I'd like to understand the sporting thing, but I don't really. But the like theological, like just being like, yes, I get to sit here and listen. Like, you're talking, and I'm like, oh, that sounds so cool. Like, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and, like, running the women's Bible studies, like, yeah, it was, like, an ongoing joke that I was just obsessed with maps or, like, where people were going. I was like, such a nerd.
Yeah, yeah. No, I really love it. And I really love the chance it gives you to, I feel like it's so hard in, young children season to sit down, focus, have that time to get into God's word deeply. And I found leading a Bible study just forced me to do that. Like, I was doing it
Yes.
for other people, so I had to do it for myself. And I really appreciate that. Yeah.
There's something in the fact that you're like, people are coming to my house and they're you know what I mean? You're like, they are
Yeah.
coming and I've invited them and I can't get out of this now, so I'm gonna have to do it. Like, it's very motivating.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. It's also a strong motivation for cleaning, I find.
Yes. Best way to keep your house clean is you keep inviting people over. You're like, "I've got to stay on top of this. People
That's
should
right.
do this."
That's right. The cupboards
Yeah.
can only hide so much.
Yeah, you're like, "It's partly because I love Jesus, but partly also because the
Yeah, I
Puritarian."
need
Get it?
my house to be clean. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, nice. So how did you become a Christian?
I am very thankful that I grew up with a Christian family and, yeah, Christian parents who were just really committed to passing on faith to us, and to taking us to church, actually. I think as I look
Oh.
back on my upbringing, I think we always knew that going to church was, like, non-negotiable. Um,
Mm.
and, we did family devotions and things like that. And so it meant that I think you had to make a choice about God. God couldn't just be something in the
Mm.
corner. You had to go, okay, well, am I going to go with this or am I not? So I'm really thankful for that. But I remember after there was like a kids club that ran after school, and they just used to do really simple, straight out gospel presentations. So I reckon I would have been 8 or 9, something like that, and, like, kneeling by my
Oh.
window, praying that Jesus would come into my heart, that sort of thing. And that was actually really real for me. Like, as a kid, I was like, "Yes, I'm a Christian. I want to be a
Mm.
Christian." And then went through that kind of normal, very common, I guess, Christian kid story of wrestling with doubts as a teenager. But, yeah, I think God kept me all through that. And then I hit uni and got plugged into the Christian Union and just found people who were not afraid of these questions, who tackled them head
Mm.
on, who loved Jesus, and, yeah, really grew a lot there. Yeah.
That's so great. And I just like, I love that it's so many people I talk to are like, I put my faith in Jesus as a little child and like haven't wavered from that. You're like, there's just something so beautiful that, children come to Jesus and they can.
Mm.
And the more that you grow, like there's so many things that you could learn. Like you could spend your entire life learning, but
Mm.
the essence of it, like a child can become a Christian. I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm so grateful for it because it really did shape my thinking from that time, and, praise God for that. Yeah. makes me very thankful.
So who is someone who's encouraged you or inspired you in your Christian walk, and why?
Yeah, I think probably connects with that previous answer really. So, firstly, as I said, my parents, just for their example, I think. And then the second person I would say was Rosemary Thorburn. She met with me for 3 years, one to one, to read the Bible when I was a
Wow.
uni student. Yeah. I think initially
Wow.
because I'd got elected to the CU committee in my second year, and they were like, wait a second, who's this person? We need to make sure she's okay. And
She's
then
gamed the system, but who is she?
that's right, that's right. And then, yeah, and then I just got the privilege of keeping on meeting with her. And then I actually came back a few years after finishing uni to do an MTS apprenticeship, ministry apprenticeship with the Christian Union, and then Rosemary was my trainer. So, um,
Aww.
yeah, she just taught me so much, and I think also taught me how to do vulnerable conversations, how to raise difficult topics, like Christian topics, one to one, stuff that I would have been way too nervous to try. Just be like, let's avoid did all of those things. She was really good at just doing it well.
How do you
And
do it well? Like, what were the main things that you?
ask Rosemary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I think the one-to-one context is really great for it. You know, like there are things that you could never ask someone directly in a Bible study, you know, in a
Mm.
bigger group of people because it would be too confronting. But as you regularly read the Bible with them and just keep in checking in on how they're going with prayer and godliness, that you can have those conversations. So it's something I miss actually about that phase of life, particularly when I was doing my apprenticeship. I got to meet with people one to one all the time. And
Mm.
it is a real privilege to share in someone's life in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, so it sounds like the main thing for you in terms of raising vulnerable stuff was more like picking a context and linking it to like what you're reading about and that kind of sense of growing in godliness. Those were the
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just being willing to ask the question and also to yourself go, actually, I'm really struggling with this, or this is making me feel sad. And being
Mm.
willing to say that rather than hide it, really.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not trying to be happy clappy and I'm kind of modeling that for
Yeah.
you. You're like, yeah, I'm like, yep, I'm not having a good day. Things are not going well for me. Like,
Yeah.
here I
Yeah.
am and
That's
we're
right.
going to do it anyway. Yeah. That's I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. And that kind of fits with I have noticed over the years, and maybe because I've had a series of unusual jobs like child protection or working in hospitals and just walking around to people's rooms and being like, "Hey, I heard you were sad. Do you want to chat?" Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
but I have noticed that actually by just naming stuff, people are less. I don't know. I think if you say to things to people like, how are oh, you're feeling really depressed. You're feeling really down, or you can't get out of bed. Like, have you thought about hurting yourself? Have you thought about killing yourself? Have you thought about how you would do that? Which sounds
Mm.
really confronting, but
Mm.
actually, people are happy to be asked, and they're happy. Like that, you know what I mean? You're not giving them thoughts, like they've kind of already thought about it.
Yeah.
Whereas initially in those roles, I would just think it's too much. Like people, won't want to have those conversations, but weirdly they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think for me, because in when I was in high school, I had doubts and things, but I didn't talk about them with people because I thought
Mm.
like, how terrible, how could I be doubting God, all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So to then kind of have someone be like, actually, I'm going to talk to you about this thing that I'm struggling with, and I'm older than you, and I'm maturer than you, and for me to go, oh, yeah, okay, I can do that. And that's actually a sign of wisdom and maturity. It's not, something you have to hide.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think that was a really powerful thing.
I love that. Like, that's just What an excellent yeah, I think I had my own periods of wrestling with doubt not long after becoming a Christian, and I think what a lovely thing for you that you got such a beautiful opportunity to see that mapped out well. I mean, like, these questions aren't things to be scared of, like, it's a robust faith, there's things we can wrestle with, but also getting to walk with someone so mature.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, God's been very good in people He's placed in my life for sure.
That's great. Could you tell us, like, perhaps about, like, a hard season you've walked through and how you've experienced God's faithfulness in that season?
I think probably the season of my life that I look back on and go, "Oh, that's probably so far the hardest thing that I've had to face," was a season of church conflict that my husband and I went through a number of years ago. He was and is a pastor. So he was pastor at this church where this conflict happened. So I was, the pastor's wife. And it was probably kind of there's a lead up period, but I reckon there was about 12 to 15 months of sustained kind of stress
Mm.
and a lot of, behind the scenes stuff that later came out. There was like about a 3-month break where we thought, oh, it's all resolved, it's fixed, and it's all going to be fine. And it really wasn't. So yeah, it was the first time that I had ever felt really angry at someone and hurt by someone,
Mm.
which, I mean, praise God that I'd got to that point in my life without having experienced that. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, first time that I'd had to kind of deal with that, and then dealt with also a lot of fear about how are people going to react to this? Am I going to lose friends? Are people going to understand
Mm.
what we're talking about? Yeah, and for long periods of time being like, I don't see a good end. Like how is this
Mm.
going to be okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was not a fun time at all,
Mm.
but also a time when, you know, uh, I learnt to look to God in a way that I hadn't had to before. So yeah, I learned a lot about God's faithfulness in that time.
It seems to me, I mean, and again, like, I haven't been a pastor's wife, I don't know, but from the outside looking in, like, it must be quite a tricky role because you know so many things that are happening within the church, and so many people in the church are your friends,
Mm,
that it would be quite tricky when things aren't going well because, yeah, like, how you grapple with that, and also because, like, it's often, yeah, your husband is also employed there and it's tied to, like, your finances and how you provide for your family, like, that I can imagine that it's a season of church conflict would really cause so many stresses in multiple areas of your life.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's really true. Yeah, I think one of the hardest things was not being able to talk about the conflict with very close friends who were in the church because it wouldn't have been appropriate
Mm.
and it's confidential and all that sort of thing. But you almost felt like people ask you how you're going and you're kind of like, how do I answer that question? Like,
Yeah.
honestly and appropriately. And that was actually quite difficult to work out a fair bit of the time. So, in one way, when things came to a head and the rest of the church became involved, there was, I mean, that was very scary, but there was a relief in at least being able to say to these friends, this is actually what's been going on in my life for the last, 8 months that I haven't been able to talk to you
Yeah.
about. Yeah, but I must say, God was very faithful in providing outside church sources for me to talk to, and that was really important. In fact, Amy Stouffer, who's one of our writers, she set me up with someone else, an older lady from another church to meet up with, who was
Oh.
also a pastor's wife who, been there, done that. And she was so helpful. Just, understanding what the situation was
Mm.
and bringing a word from the Bible for us to just look at and be encouraged by, praying for me. And I didn't really know her before this. It was totally like we were just set up, and then I was like,
Yeah.
look, here's my terrible life circumstance. Please help me.
Like, here it is. Here are the
Yeah,
things.
that's right. Yeah. So all those lessons I learned about being vulnerable, they fade off. in that-
Especially when you're like, I don't like this vulnerability, and you're like, okay.
yeah, here it is. Here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was really thankful for that. And I think it taught me to come to God in a way that I hadn't had to do before, and to go, look, yeah, I need your help to deal appropriately with anger, to help me to forgive, to help me to, not become bitter, which was all something very new to me. Like that sense, that kind of thing where you have to, it's not something you can just deal with, one night. You've got to keep on working at it, coming back to it.
Yeah.
So that was a big
Yeah.
learning curve. But it's also the one time in my life where I had been in class at Trinity. We looked at Romans 5, which talks about God's love being poured into our hearts through his Holy Spirit. And I was reflecting on that, and and I had this sense of peace that totally was disconnected to my circumstance. Like there was no earthly reason for me to feel like peace in terms of where the conflict was at. Yeah, it was just this little gift from God, in that moment. It's not like it lasted the whole time. But I've always kind of cherished that and held on to that and gone, wow, like that is a real thing, that God can give that to you in seasons where you think there's nothing to feel peaceful about here.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's definitely a precious thing that came out of that time.
That is really, like, both of those things are so precious, because it is so hard. It's so hard when that anger becomes resentment, and then like it's bitterness, and like trying to like dig that out
Yeah.
and forgive. It's just so hard. Like I can't even think how I would do that without God. Like I actually am like, I'm not capable. Like I actually cannot, but I need to, because it's so horrible for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
like,
think
we're not going
realizing
place.
that you need God to do it. Like,
Yes.
like it's really helpful to go like, oh, actually, this is what Christianity is. This is the rubber hitting the road, like this is, Rhiannon can't do this. you know?
Yeah, you're like, I'm optimistic. I can do a lot of things. You're like, this one, no.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I can do 27 things in one afternoon, but no, this I need God's help for.
Like, I can take 3 children to 5 places. Can I forgive? No.
Oh dear.
But I do also love, like, what you were saying about peace, because I think that's just so true. You can intellectually understand that God promises peace, but sometimes just having that provision where you're like, yeah, this doesn't make any sense, that I would feel peaceful, that I could have this, that I could feel okay given my circumstances, and yet here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It was and that Romans 5 passage has stayed, precious to me since then. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I have a question. Was the woman that you met with Meredith Vanderclip by any chance?
It wasn't, no, it was Irene Kilo.
I don't know her.
Yeah. So Amy used to be at Callery, and so Irene Callery. So that was connected.
That Irene.
Yeah.
So she was the one who like mentored Amy, I think. Maybe.
Yeah. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah. And it was really great that Amy was also able to go I maybe don't have capacity to do this right now, but here's someone
Yeah.
that would be really great for you to meet with, and because I wouldn't have found Irene by myself. So
No.
yeah,
And almost even better that it's someone that you don't know. Like, sometimes when you're
yes,
like, "Look, I don't." Yeah, you're like, I just need to pour all of this out, and I would be grateful for any wisdom."
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
That's
think, I had some peers who were really helpful as well, that it was really good to have someone in that more wiser category, has
mm,
been through this, knows what this is.
can say to you, like, you will come through the other side of this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, that's so good. Now, having been through a season of that, like, just out of interest, like, do you reckon how you I don't wanna say, like, how you pastor per se, like, because, that's Sam's role,
Yeah.
and but I don't know, has that changed the way that, like, you approach pastoral ministry, or in terms of, like, what supports you have in place, or, like, I don't know, like, having come through the other side of that and remained in pastoral ministry,
Mm.
like, are there some things that you're more intentional about now that you wouldn't have been before?
Yeah, I think, although I'm not doing a good job of it right at this moment, but I think it really did cement to me the value, particularly if you are in a ministry role or kind of a ministry wife role, of having trusted people outside your own ministry context that you can
Mm,
turn to, particularly for those times when things are tricky, or just to be able to get an outside perspective. I think that's a really valuable, important thing. And so I have wanted to maintain that, although I'm not doing a good job of it right now. I think, so I think that has been a big takeaway. Learned a lot of things about conflict in general, but probably be from the scope of a relatively short podcast. Yeah.
although, like, I am interested, though. I've been doing, the Keller, like, Proverbs devotional, because I'm, like, really need to grow in wisdom. Like, what are some ways that you approach conflict differently now than you would have before?
I think my default position with conflict that I've had forever is to run away from it and avoid it at all costs. So this was definitely a time of, you can't do that. You have to engage in this. And so, I think it's taught me to go, actually, there are times when you need to engage. So that's a big thing. I think we learn a lot about, if there's not a resolution, like if we can't actually come to the point that biblically you want to come to, of restoration, forgiveness, reconciliation. If there are some times when you can't reach that point, and that's
Yeah.
really hard to accept,
Mm.
and think you want to go a long time before you come to that conclusion. But that was something that we had to grapple with, and just go, we have to do everything that we can do, and that's what we can do. So that was a hard thing. And then learning not to be, that even in that situation, it's not okay to be bitter, and it's not okay to harbor resentment. And, all of those things you take to God and you go, look, you are the one who knows all, who judges justly, who knows much more than me. Like, maybe there are some things
Yeah.
that I didn't see about myself that, that God knows, but learning to rest in God's ultimate justice, which is, you see that theme all through the Psalms, like it's very
Mm.
prominent in the Bible, and resting in that promise, I think, really helpful. Yeah. There's some thoughts.
No, that's excellent. I think that's true. Like there are so many resources. It's almost dumb to say, but there are so many resources in the Bible for dealing with conflict. But like on every level where you're like, oh, okay, I have to deal with stuff. Like I have to own my own things. I'm not allowed to be bitter. But at some point I can only do what's in my control. And I can't make other people change or reconcile or do the things if they don't want to. Like it is really nuanced.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and praise God that in the new creation, these things, God is going to make everything right, and that's going to include my heart. And if you're talking about conflict with other Christians, like their hearts, we're going to be there together. So, yeah, God's got this ultimately. Yeah.
That's a beautiful encouragement. And, maybe if there's a woman who is listening, like, either like a woman who's in ministry and maybe perhaps facing like a period of conflict, or someone who's just going through like a long period of conflict, maybe not in ministry, what's a word of encouragement you can offer to them?
Kind of along the lines of what we've been talking about, I think trusting in, I think both God's love for you in this, and that he is working even in this, and that you can trust in him for ultimate vindication in him. He will bring about what is good. I think especially that's helpful in terms of fearing for your reputation, fearing for losing friends, fearing for people not understanding, and to go, well, that's true. People might not understand. It's possible that we lose friends, and that's a really sad and hard thing. Certainly that was one of my big fears. But actually, it's not the vindication from other people that we look to in the end. It's actually God that we look to. So, yeah, that was really important for me to grasp onto, even as I obviously really wanted to and sought to keep those friendships, and a lot of the things that I feared didn't happen. But yeah, knowing that it's God's opinion that counts in the end. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's it. Like there is, with the period of conflict, there are so many other things associated with it. But actually, ultimately, meditating on like who is God and what is he like, that really shows up like, okay, these are these fears that I have placed too high. Because ultimately, like you're saying, he's going to see everything. He knows everything. He's going to deal with it perfectly. And he's not going to leave you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who would you nominate for this next? Like, who do you think's really encouraging and would be good to hear from? And, you're going to throw under the bus.
Yeah, that's right. Well, look, any of the people I've mentioned by name so far, basically, I'll just throw them in there. But the person I thought of is actually someone from my church, Rachel Thayer. I am always encouraged when I chat to her. We kind of have these we got the kids to church on time. Like we had a high five moment when we both got all the kids were at church for the first song, and we were just like, we made it. We did it. And so she's great. So she's my nomination.
Oh, brilliant. And tell me, what's something that, I mean, apart from getting places on time and high-fiving, what is it that you love about Rachel? What is the thing that she does well that encourages you?
I mean, what more do you need? But
that she's good at netball. I don't know. Like,
yeah, no, I think her and Jordan have 4 small children, and I really admire the way that she is seeking to be godly in parenting them, and in just thinking through how do I do this season of life well? I'm always encouraged when I chat to her on the things that she's been reflecting, or challenged to go, actually, I could respond better to this situation, or that one. So she's always encouraging to chat to.
Oh, brilliant. That's so beautiful. Excellent. Well, I hope to chat to Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon the theme for me, kind of flowing throughout this interview, that I have just really enjoyed is coming to Christ early, coming to faith early, but the thing that God has like kind of changed and sanctified over your life, because you're like, if I'm really honest with God, you're like, I want to be good, but you're like, if I say all these things, or if I own this stuff that seems too big, like it lives in your head and it's terrifying. But actually, it sounds like as you've gone along and you've had trusted mentors and like almost conflict has forced you to in such a way, well, you've had to really cry out to God and be like, I don't know how to do any of this. And I don't know how to I can't be loving or be the things that you want me to do. And actually, in that vulnerability, like that change has come.
Mm.
Yeah. And I just love that picture of over a lifetime of like some of those, the way that God changes us and we're still who we are, but weird, and I don't know what it is, but you know what I mean? Like he changes us. To who you were meant to be. Yeah.
Yeah. There is actual growth, hopefully. Yeah.
I mean, me, I'm like, look, I'm tired of learning patience. I'm like, can I learn something else? God, like, no.
That's right. Have children and then learn some more patience. Yeah. I really thought that I was a really, I definitely have been in that camp of like, I thought I had patience really pretty down pat.
It's easy to be patient if no one annoys you. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really enjoyed just getting to know you a bit better.
Oh, it's been really fun. Thanks, Nick.
That's it from us, friends. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, you can sign up to our free weekly newsletter called Stories I'd Tell You at Dinner. So you get essays, poetry, podcast episodes, everything, photo essays straight to your inbox on Wednesdays from March through to November from Christian women in Western Australia. If you'd like that, the link is in the show notes. Thanks for listening, guys.